Hello my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Angel from Simply Angel Tia. In this video we're working on this top here. It's a mesh bikini cover up top that you can either wear it as a bolero, as a mesh crop top. You could use this pretty much for whatever you want, but I'm making it particularly as a bikini cover up top. And as you can see here, it has this flared out sleeves, and this is something that was actually asked by one of you lovelies for me to show how to do something that have a flare. And this is following the bolero or the mesh top that I made a couple of weeks ago that is already on the channel, so check that one out. And they asked me how I would do it if I wanted to have the flare out on the sleeves. So this is pretty much a tutorial that was a recommendation by one of you. It seems like I'm doing a lot of those lately where you guys asked me to do something, and of course I go ahead and do that. So I thank you guys for being active and for asking questions and for sending recommendations. It does keep me busy for sure. I will do another one that will have the same kind of flare out effect like this, but similar to the one that I did below. So it's gonna be a very short one from here that just covers the top, and then I'm going to flare out the sleeves as well. So yeah, this is what we're gonna be working on this video. Just a quick note as well, I may be making a skirt, a bikini cover bottom, which is gonna be more like a mini skirt because I have a little bit of this yarn left and I would like to use it up. So I may do a skirt for that, so look out for that as well. Okay, all right, go gather your stuff and let's go ahead and get started. Hey my lovelies, so before we get this project started, I'm going to talk about the materials that we're using for it. And as you can see here, I have my yarn. Again, I have these We Heart yarn by Hobby, and it's 100% cotton. It's 50 grams for the size here, and it's a lightweight number 3, and recommended hook size is 3.5 to 4 millimeter crochet hook, which is US E4 to G6. Okay, and this color here is 17. I will probably be referring this to this color as maroon. Okay, for a crochet hook size, I'll be using 4.25 millimeter crochet hook. I have my scissors here, my darning needle stitch markers, as well as a tape measure. Okay, all right, let's go ahead and get started. Okay my lovelies, so to get started with this project, I'm going to show you a very small sample just because it's a very repeated stitch. I've done this stitch multiple times, so I'm just going to show you how to do a small sample, but you will of course work however long you need it to be or however big you want it to be, and I'll talk about sizing as well. Okay, so I'm going to start by doing a slip stitch here so I can show you guys how to do the small sample. Then I'm going to do a chain of 20, so 1 2 3 4 5. So this is a sample. For my actual project itself, I did a chain of 60. Okay, so 60, and it's going to be a panel for one side. So we're doing two panels. We're doing a back panel and we're doing a front panel. Both panels are going to be identical, so it doesn't matter which one you work on first. It could be the second, it could be the back, or it could be the front. But as long as you're doing a measurement that is the circumference of your body, so however wide the biggest part of your bust is, so take a tape measure, put it around the biggest part of your bust, and then divide that by 2. So let's say the biggest part of the circumference of your bust is 20 inches. So let's say this is how big it is to go around your breast. If this is the size here, then you're going to do a chain that is going to be 10 inches. Okay, because the other half is going to be for the back or the front. And if you want it to be loose, and that is if you want it tight. If you want it to be loose, then you can continue to increase the sizing so that you have the looseness that you require. All right, so now that I have my chain of 20 here, I'm going to add another chain of 4. So 1 2 3 4 5. Actually, we're going to do 5, and I'm going to skip 1 2 3 4. In the 5th stitch right here, I'm going to do a double crochet. Okay, just like that. And this chain 4 counts as a stitch. It counts as a double crochet. Actually, the first 3 count, the first 2 count as a double crochet, the second 2 count as a chain 2. And then you're going to chain 2, then you're going to skip 2 stitches, 1 2, and the third you're going to go ahead and do a double crochet. chain 2, skip 1, 2 in the third, do a double crochet, chain 2, skip 2 stitches in the third, do a double crochet, chain 2, 1, 2, skip, and then in the third do a double crochet. And of course you continue this until the end of the row. And as you can see here, since it's just a sample, I will work it through with you guys, and then I will have you guys we'll start the second row together, and I'll have you guys repeat this until you have the length that you're looking for. So 1, 2, right here we do a double crochet, chain 2, and then we do a double crochet in the last stitch here. Okay, and whether you have 2 stitches left at the end, just skip the one and do 1, and that doesn't matter. So this is what you should have for the beginning of the row. Okay, and then to do your second row, you're going to chain 4, turn, and then skip the 2 stitches in the third, which is on top of the previous double crochet. You're going to do a double crochet, chain 2, skip these 2 stitches in the third, do a double crochet, chain 2, skip the 2 stitches on top of the previous double crochet, do a double crochet, chain 2. And as you can see here, this is pretty much what you continue to do for the project, okay, for this part of the project particularly. And again, this is just a sample, but I did mine to be 60 stitches plus 5, so 65 altogether. And the first 5 stitches I skip, so I could work my double crochet, and that counts as a stitch. Okay, so like that, and then chain 2. And this is important, this is the 4th chains that we left at the beginning. You're going to go 1, 2, and in the third you're going to go on top of that and do a double crochet. Okay, just like this. And this is how it should look like. It's very simple. That is how your panel would look like, and of course much bigger. You're going to build your panel up like that until you have the length. So to determine the length, you're just going to see how long down you want your bolero or your shrug to go. And if you want it to be really long, then you're going to do the length. This is going to be the length of it here. Okay, so I'm going to work on my actual project, and when I have the one panel completed, I'll come back and show you how that looks like. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have completed my panel here. So this is the actual one panel for my body. Like I said, I started with 65 chains, and then I worked them down, and keeping in mind the first 4 or 5, depending on how wide you want the beginning to be, is going to count as your turning chains. But this is pretty much what I have here for one panel. So I'm gonna do the exact same thing for the second panel. When I have both, I'm gonna come back to show you guys how it looks like. So I have about 20 rows here. So it's not a very long one, but it's pretty much the length that I want for this bolero. Okay, so when you have the length for the first, then stop there. This is mine, so I'm gonna go ahead and repeat the exact same thing I did for this first one on the second one until I have 2 panels. Okay, I'll see you guys when I have the second one completed. Okay, my lovelies, so I have my second panel here completed. So as you can see, I have both of them being exactly identical. You can see here. Also, what I did was I just cut the yarn to be a little bit longer for the final stitch here, because we're gonna use those 2 sections to join our work together. But this is pretty much the panels here completed. Like I said, the back and the front are exactly the same. So we're gonna now work on the joining, and what I will do is I will take a stitch marker and put it where I want my armhole to be on both sides, and then we're gonna come and join, and then we will start our sleeves. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and mark that, and then I'll come back and show you guys what that is. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and sectioned out where I'm gonna be leaving my armholes. So this is gonna be here. This was actually easy for me to do because I just did 10 and 10, so I have 20 rows here. So I just I put the stitch marker where there is halfway down, because this is enough for me for my armhole. So if yours is not, please measure to make sure how wide your armhole is to be able to section that out. I just happen to have, this is gonna be big enough for me, so I just decided to do it halfway on both sides. Okay, so this is where I'm gonna join. I'm gonna close these down here like this, And then of course I'm gonna close up here, and then we're gonna work on our sleeves coming out here like this. Okay, so for me to do the sleeves, I'm not gonna make it go too deep in, so it's gonna have a wide neckline. So what I will do is I will close 1, 2, 3, these 3 sections here. So this is the only side that I will close here, and I will repeat that on the other side. And then of course, like I said, we will do the bottom as well from where the stitch marker is down, but I will show you guys how to join here. So like I said, again, I'm going to only do 1, 2, 3. So I will have my last one right here. And to do that, I just put the string that I had left on the darning needle. Then I'm going to match up this side here and that side. I'm going to pull. I'm going to repeat that one more time here. Okay, and we can weave these in as we go actually, like that. Okay, and then I'm just going to go into these stitches here and just kind of pick up each of these stitches here like this, and so it closed like that. Then I'm gonna go into the stitches. So again, we're just lining up the stitches here as we work across it. So we're going to go here, and actually I won't weave these and I'll just leave it there. It will be too complicated for me to try and weave it in, especially with the mesh part of the top like this. We will weave it in later. And then I'm gonna go into here. We're gonna close that up. So again, the joining is not particularly the most neatest because the stitches are not very even here, but we do what we gotta do. And again, you're making sure you're lining them up like this. So make sure they're not like overlapping somewhere in a place that is not supposed to be. Okay, then we're gonna go into this next one here. We're just gonna do it in the middle here. And then we're gonna go into this section here. Okay, so we're gonna end this one here, and then we're gonna join our, so like that, we'll leave that here like this. So this is the joining on top here. We're gonna leave this here, we're gonna switch it to this side. We're gonna do the exact same thing on here. And then when we have finished that, we're going to take more yarn connected and shut this down here and shut this down here. When you have done all of those, come back and I will show you guys how to work on the sleeves. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and joined the project here. So as you can see, this is the bottom here. I have joined it here. So this is the sleeve hole right here, and of course on the other side is the same. And we have our neckline here, so we do have a nice wide and comfortable neckline. But with that done, we're going to do the sleeves. And to do the sleeves, it's very easy. So I'm gonna show you quickly how to start that, and I will have you guys continue. And then when we have the first sleeve completed, we'll go ahead and get started with the second. Okay, so for the first one, I'm going to pretty much do what we did previously. We're gonna do a slip knot here so we can start it. We're going to go on any of the sides, so you can start it anywhere, but in terms of the locationing, it's better to start in the middle, in the bottom here, just right underneath your armpit. We're gonna put our crochet hook there, and then we're gonna bring the yarn through like this. Okay, and then we're gonna do a chain of 4 here. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we're going to go right into the next stitch here and do our double crochet. Okay, so just like this. And then we're gonna chain 2, and we're gonna go into the next, skip 2 stitches and into the next, which is on top of the previous double crochet. We do a double crochet, chain 2, skip these 2 stitches on top of the previous double crochet, do a double crochet, chain 2. And then again, we continue this all the way around until we come back here. When we get to here, come back to the video. I will show you how to start the second row, and then I will have you guys continue that. Okay, so see you guys when you get to the beginning here. Okay, my lovelies, so as you can see here, I have come all the way to the end of the this row, and I've done my last double crochet to line up with this one here. So I will do a chain of 2. And then I'm gonna go ahead and slip stitch on top of the chain 4 that we started with. So in the 3rd stitch from the bottom. just like that. Okay, and then I'm going to do a chain of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'm going to turn my work, and I'm going to work in this from this section here. So I'm gonna go ahead, skip this 2 stitches in the third one, which is on top of the previous double crochet. I will do a double crochet, chain 2, and then I'm gonna go ahead and skip 2 stitches, and in the third do a double crochet, chain 2, skip 2 stitches, in the third do a double crochet. And as you can see here, it's a continuation, just like we did the body of the shrug here. So we're going to continue to do this, and then we'll turn back around and we'll go and we'll continue to work on the sleeve that way. And for this one, because we're going to flare out the sleeves at the end, I am going to work on it until it has just gone right to my elbow. Okay, when it's just past my elbow a little bit, so let's say on my arm I have it up to here, I'm gonna come back so I can show you how to increase and flare the rest of it out. And that's an option for you. If you don't want to do that, of course, you could just continue to work this until you have the length of your sleeve. Wherever you want to end it, you can have it like a quarter of the sleeve, or 3/4 of the sleeve completed and a quarter not completed, or you could just do it all the way here, and or you can flay it out like we're going to be doing here. But for now, work it until you have it just past your elbow, and then come back and I will show you how to increase so we can flay it out a little bit. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and built up the sleeve here, and as you can see, that's how much I have completed so far. It's about 18 rows that I've done here, and I have reached just right below my elbow. And so I'm going to increase so we can start to create a little bit of a flare at the end of the sleeve here. Okay, now again, that is just an option. If you do want your sleeve to continue to have the same width like this, then please continue until you reach how far you want your sleeve to go. Okay, so this is an option. So just to show you guys how that looks like before you actually start working on the flare, this is, I did the other side and I completed it, and this is how it's gonna look like. So you do have a small width here, and then as you can see, it flares out to make it nice and puffy at the end like this. So this is what you will get if you continue with this next step. Okay, if you do not want to have this next step be like this, then you just continue with this same width, and it's gonna go just like that all the way to the end where you want it to end. Okay, all right, so with that done and explained, I'm going to start the next row, and I'm going to make it so that we can increase in some rows so that we can create the flare. Okay, so to do that, we're going to increase on every other stitch, and I'll show you exactly how to do that. And then we will do that for a couple of rows before we stop, because for mine particularly, I'm just making it go up right to where my wrist end. Okay, and my hand starts. So with that done, so as you can see, I have done my slip stitching on top of this here. So I'm going to do the regular chain 4. So 1, 2, 2, 3, and 4, and then I turn. Okay, just like this, and then I skip the 2 stitches here, and in the next stitch I do my regular double crochet in that stitch. Okay, and I'm gonna increase in this stitch here, so I'm gonna chain 2 and do 1 more double crochet in that same stitch like that. Okay, like that. So this is how that would look. This is the regular double crochet here, which is our chain 4, chain 2, a chain 4, which is a double crochet plus chain 2, and then I do that there. Then I do a chain 2, and I go into the next stitch here by skipping 2 and going to the next. I end up on top of the previous double crochet, and then I do that just as normal like this. I don't increase in this stitch, I just continue to the next one. So I chain 2, then I move on to the next one where I'm gonna increase. So in this one here, a little bit clumsy, in this one here I'm gonna do chain double crochet, chain 2, double crochet in the same stitch. Okay, so we're increasing in this stitch here, chain 2, skip 2 in the next, do a double crochet, and we don't increase here, so we chain 2 again. We move on to skipping 2 stitches, and the next one we do our increase, and don't forget to do chain 2 between the 2 double crochets that are going into the same stitch. like that. Okay, so this is what you should have. Okay, so you don't increase in the first, you increase in the second. You don't increase in the third, you increase in the fourth. You don't increase in the fifth, you increase in the sixth. And you continue this all around until you come back. Your last increase should be the one here, because the last one that or the first one we created is not an increase. So the last one that you should increase is right here. So do that around. When you get back here, meet me and I'll show you how to start the second row of this next step. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed this row of increase here. So as you can see, start to flare out here. Okay, so and again, I have done my last increase right here, and this one is the first chain 4 that we created, which counts as a double crochet with the chain 2 in between. Okay, so now that we have done that, we will do our regular chain 2, and then we will slip stitch on top of the third chain from the bottom, like that. Okay, so again, as you can see, start to flare out, and at this moment you don't do anything any different. So you just do your chain 4 like we would have done with the remaining of the project, or with the rest of the project, and then you just continue to work your double crochets in the next stitch. So you not in the next, but you skip the 2, of course, on top of the next double crochet from the previous row. You will do your double crochet, chain 2. Let's fix this here. Chain 2, skip these 2, the chain 2 between, and go into the next stitch, which is the previous double crochet. Chain 2, skip the next 2 stitches, go into the next, which is on top of the previous double crochet. Chain 2, and at this moment you don't do anything different than you have been doing with the whole project so far, where you just skip 2 stitches and in the next you work your double crochet. And don't forget to do your chain 2 between those double crochet stitches, and then you just continue this until you get the length that you're looking for your sleeve. Okay, so I'm gonna do probably a couple of let's say 10 to 15 rows to get to the length that I'm looking for, and then I will stop. Okay, so this again is how you start to flare out here. If you wanted the flare to be a little bit smaller, then you skip maybe 2, you don't increase in 2, increase in the third, don't increase in, and then you alternate that pattern. And or if you wanted to flare even a lot more, you could increase on every single stitch, on every single double crochet stitch. You still have to skip the chain 2 between to be able to do this pattern here like this. But if you wanted it to flare more, then you could, where we did 1 single double crochet here, you could do 2, do 2, do 2, do 2, and do 2 all around, and your flare will be really out. Okay, all right, so I think I've explained kind of everything that you guys need to do to complete the project. So go ahead and work on the remainder of your sleeve. And since I've already done my second one, just to make sure that you guys saw how it looks like before you actually worked into it, I'm not gonna obviously do the second, but for you guys, you will complete this one, finish, cut your yarn after you slip stitch in the final one, cut your yarn off, reconnect it at the beginning here, so in the bottom like we did the other one, and then work your whatever the length for this without increasing, and then increase, and it will just exactly be repeating how you did the first one. And when you have finished both of your sleeves, come back and I will pretty much kind of finish the tutorial off with you guys. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed the sleeves. So as you can see here, this is the last sleeve that I did, and of course this is the one that I had done off camera. So both of them are completed with the flare on the ends like this. So this is something that is going to be very nice to wear with something on the inside, or simply just a bikini cover up top. So this is something that you can wear, and it's also important that I did it in cotton. That way it's not going to be too hot if you wear these in the summer, to cover yourself a little bit more with the bikini underneath. Okay, so this is pretty much the end of the project here. Just want to thank you guys for watching the video to the end. If you've made it to the end, thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell, and like the video. Also share it with your friends if you want them to learn how to do something this simple. But this is pretty much it for me for now. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.